All right, guys, here we are on this week's episode of the 40 Years and 40 Beers podcast. We have this week's guest. She is a Bucks County native. She's from Percy, Pennsylvania, went to Penn Ridge High School, former Philadelphia Eagles cheerleader, former MadTv alumni, Playboy lingerie issue alumni, has film credits, Black Tie Nights, Hollywood Sexcapades. This week's guest, the wonderful and talented Beverly Lynne.
Thank you, Bobby.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're really happy to have you. We've been really looking forward to this interview, being that you're a local Philly girl. You know, we're from the Delco area, so we're really, really excited to have you on. How is everything today?
Everything is good. It's been a little crazy day. As you know, I'm here in Vegas, and it has been, you know, when we get winds here, we get winds. I'm in a bowl, you know, and it doesn't rain, and the air gets dusty. My eyes have been watering all week. But anyway, welcome to Vegas, right?
Absolutely. Probably a great place to live. So Beverly, again, thank you so much for being on. We're really thrilled to have you. And I'd love to start by hearing about your roots, you know, growing up in Pennsylvania, what it was like. And did you always feel that you were going to be pulled out west for something bigger?
Yes, I did. Ever since I was a little girl, well, yeah, like probably 4 or 5 years old, I had an infatuation with Marilyn Monroe, of course, who doesn't, right?
Sure.
And
especially being the beautiful blonde that you are, right?
And I always told my parents, I was like, I'm going to be the next Marilyn Monroe. As a 5-year-old, it's like, oh my gosh, my poor parents threw hell and back. But I always knew I loved back east. And, you know, I had such a great time growing up there, and, you know, the seasons and everything, and the people are amazing. But I always knew I wanted to be in the entertainment industry. And after I got my feet wet there, I knew where I had to go. And that was, you know, to California. So that's where I ended up, and then to Vegas.
Now, were you always into performing even when you were younger, as a young girl, you know, 5, 6, 7? Were you into jazz, tap dance, you know, acting maybe in local theater?
All of it. All of it. My poor father. I started taking private dance lessons at 4. I started with ballet and tap, and I danced, you know, my whole life. And I also started with the midget football, cheerleading for them at 4 or 5. Remember the midgets? Oh my gosh. Yeah. They were like little 6-year-olds running around playing football, and I'm there cheering, did parades, did all of that. So I did that pretty much my whole life. And I modeled even when I was little in high school. And then it just kind of, I don't know, it was always I always just knew I was different, I guess.
Always craved a little bit of attention, right?
Yes. Attention right here.
I wanted to ask, did you ever get to do a Thanksgiving parade before you left Pennsylvania?
Not Thanksgiving, but you know what I did do? I did the Mummers Parade. I totally forgot to tell you about that. I did that like twice.
That's awesome.
That's great. I am a mummer.
Yeah, you have to get down there. The Mummers dance, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'll see if I can do it.
Yeah, got to do the Mummers dance.
I got my mini umbrella in the closet.
But yeah, I did that twice, and my parents had to get up so early to drive me down to Center City, Philadelphia. I think we had to be there at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And then you just wait for your turn, you know?
Bobby's still in it now. I was in it with my dad when I was a kid, but Bob still, he does it every year.
Yeah, we actually won this year. Yeah, Finnegan's New Year's Brigade. We won the comic division this year. Yeah, it was great. It's such a great time.
Oh my gosh, I have to see that. I want to see that. That is so cool. The Mummers Parade is like the ultimate. I think it blows the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade out of the water. I mean, it is just such an experience. The vibe, the energy, the people, the Mummers dance. Like, it's cool. I guess, awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Beverly.
I guess when you grow up here, you don't notice that, you know, it's a little bizarre, and it's a kind of a big deal if you're an outsider looking in. You know what I mean?
Truly.
Yeah,
it is. So one thing I think a lot of our fans don't know, a lot of our listeners don't know, is you were a former Eagles cheerleader. So
yeah.
If you don't mind, I'd love for you to take us back to your days as an Eagles cheerleader. You know, what memory stands out, and how do you think that experience shaped you in your career?
Wow, that's a big question. Okay, first of all, it's just the most amazing experience I've ever had in my life. You know what I mean? The audition process is incredibly hard. So I think that the way it enhanced me as a human being was your confidence. I mean, you walk in there, day one, there's like, 1,000 girls auditioning for 10 to 12 spots.
Wow.
And yeah, it's hard. You have to be, secure with yourself, confident, because they don't just look at your dancing ability. They look at the whole package, the way you look, the way you interact with people. I was a good dancer, but I wasn't like the strongest dancer. I wasn't horrible, but I was great with people and children. And so I did a lot more, spokesperson work. You know what I mean?
Personality side of the
Yeah,
job.
yeah. The audition process is over a month long, and it's cut after cut after cut. Like the first day I auditioned, I think there were like over 1,000 girls there, and they cut like half of them.
Wow.
So
Immediately.
yeah, like within, like you're there for maybe 6 hours. You learn, I think it's a minute long routine. And then this was at Veterans Stadium. Then you practice, and you're doing it in 8 counts, and you're learning it bit by bit by bit. And then by the end, you go down on the field of Veterans Stadium in front of a table of, Jeffrey Laurie's there, the owner, the coaches, everybody's there. There's probably like 10 people, and you got to do this dance that you just learned, and they play the music and you got to go. And of course, you're going to screw it up here and there, but they just want to see, one, how quick are you learning when you're performing? Are you smiling? Or if you mess up, do you like freeze? Like, what do you do? Things like that. So it's cut after. And then by the end of the audition process, which is a month, you've learned 2-minute routines. And then on the final day, like when you do it, where they pick the team, it was down to like, I want to say maybe 18 to 20 girls, and they only had 12 spots open. So I made all those cuts. And then you go up there in front of the judges, and they'll be like, Beverly, do routine number 2. And I got to be ready on, and I just learned these routines. And that's how it was during the games too. We had like 6 or 7, 2-minute routines.
Memorized
and then
routines,
they'd be like, okay, you're doing number 4, you do it. So you got to really be disciplined and on it. It just becomes kind of like muscle memory because it's so embedded. But it was a phenomenal experience.
You talked about the personality part of it. Would you say that the actual dancing is only half of the job?
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement.
Because you're doing a lot of like traveling and meet and greets and speaking and stuff like that too, right?
Correct.
It's not just dancing.
You did not go away to away games. We only treated at the home games. The only way you would go to an away game is if you made the Super Bowl, which when I went, it was a joke. But anyway, so I never made the Super Bowl. So that's when they travel all the cheerleaders there. And then when it's what's the one where is it the Pro Bowl?
Yes, in Honolulu.
Yeah. Okay. Then one cheerleader from every professional squad gets to go there. And it's usually the veteran cheerleader. The one who has been on the team the longest is who they'll send to the Pro Bowl.
Oh, that's
because
nice.
not every team has cheerleaders.
So you mentioned earlier that you got into modeling as a child. So how did modeling first come into your life in Pennsylvania? And when was the moment that you realized it may open some pretty big doors?
Well, the dancing, started it. And then I told my parents, I really wanted to model, yada, yada. So daddy signed me up, to one of the modeling schools, and I learned how to walk the runway and pose better in front of the camera. Again, how to carry yourself and always be aware of what the angles are so the lines are right and stuff like that. And then that evolved to doing some local fashion shows, local print jobs, in the morning call newspaper. Did a lot of bathing
What is that, Allentown area? Like morning call?
Yeah, the morning call was in Allentown. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in that a million times, like the style section or whatever. And then that led to radio stuff and then TV stuff. And I was like, you know what? This is kind of my jam. I like it. I get to be around different people. It's always a different job, exciting. You don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I do.
I
do, absolutely. It's always good to get out of your comfort zone and then discover your comfort zone, right?
Yes, sir.
So, modeled starting in your early days, and obviously it carried you to a lot of places. So we, in the beginning, told everybody that you were a member of the Playboy book of lingerie.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your Playboy and your time after the Eagles. What was it like stepping into that world, and what was it like to see those opportunities kind of unfold?
Well, Playboy was before the Eagles.
Oh, it was before the Eagles. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us know. Okay.
Yeah, I shot that. I graduated high school in 91. I want to say maybe 93 or 4.
Okay.
I don't know. I have magazines upstairs. I should have brought them down to show you. Maybe
so you were about 21, 22.
Yeah, I was young.
Okay.
And then because I made the Eagles, I think I was 24
Okay.
or 25. So what happened was I went to New York for an audition. I used to even audition for the Harlequin romance novel covers, with Fabio.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you ever meet him?
Yeah.
No, but I auditioned several times for those romance novels to be one of the girls on the cover. I never got the job, but I got Soap Opera Digest magazine one time. I had to do what it's like to audition for a soap opera. And then that's when I auditioned for Playboy. And I got they called my agent and said, oh, we're going to hire Beverly to do, the Playboy's Book of Lingerie. Well, it ended up being 3 issues of the Playboy Book of Lingerie.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 were released in the States and 1 was released in Poland.
Now,
I never saw the Poland leg out.
Was this your first nude modeling experience? Were you doing some things before this?
No, because I used to do like artistic nude modeling. Like sometimes it would just be the curves of my body covered in mud or, you know what I mean? Artistic stuff like that for art galleries. And I actually one time, Chuck Zovko was his name, my photographer. He was the photographer for the Morning Call. He had a friend that wanted to get a bronze statue in their pool or their yard or something, and they wanted me. So I had just gotten back from the Bahamas shooting my first calendar with the Eagles, and I got sunburnt so bad. So anyway, I have to shoot.
I get that too, don't worry.
Every part of your body to make you into a statue. Oh my gosh. Apparently I'm a bronze statue somewhere.
So I have to ask this. That has to be a huge ego boost. That some guy's like, you know what? I want a bronze statue of her.
It's fucked up.
So you never got to go to the pool and actually see the statue?
No, but Chuck has pictures of it or something. So I have stuff of it. I never saw it live. I have like bins and bins and bins of stuff in our garage. I got to go through them and just kind of like put it out there because it's pretty cool. But yeah, I was like, wow,
that's awesome.
That's wild.
That is pretty wild. I mean, let's be frank
blows
too.
My mind.
It's a little right now when you think about it, right? Like it's a little creepy. Is this guy just staring at me for the last 30 years?
I know.
Funny.
Did you
and wait? I'm a bronze statue.
Did you immediately say yes, or did you have to think about it?
I did Chuck. I shot with him probably 40, 50 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I trust him and I felt comfortable. It was always very professional and artistic, but yeah, so they had to take it like, it would be like a picture of just this part of my arm, then this part of my arm, then like from here to here, just literally. And then the sculptor just designed
everything. Yeah.
Right.
It is a little weird.
I would have no idea that's how a statue of an actual.
I mean, that's how it was 20 some years ago. That was fun. Yeah. And then just kind of, I took, whatever. I was like, I'll try that. And what I didn't enjoy doing, I wasn't going to do. And what I did like doing, I do. Fashion shows, I did those.
Yeah.
The catwalk just wasn't for you, right? The runway just wasn't.
People.
It seems like it's, I agree. I think you're much better in like a social acting environment, dancing environment. I feel like sometimes that runway modeling is very like stiff, right?
Yeah, you got to be like, and you look, straight ahead, dead, and
they always seem so serious. There's no like, life in their faces.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't want a 110-pound woman. I want
right?
somebody, right?
That's for sure.
And that was the other thing too that was so hard with modeling because they want you so like thin and everything because when the designer comes out with clothing, right? They want it to just hang on us like a hanger. Like we don't want to show the curves or anything like that. The focus is the garment. So when you're walking in it, your goal is to not allow the garment to move. So if you're walking in a long dress, you got to walk all stiff because they don't want it flowing. They don't want
How the fuck does that happen?
I never knew that. I mean, it makes sense why the walk is so weird, but I never knew that.
Yeah.
How is the garment not going to move? Are you kidding me? You got this woman with curves. She's a beautiful woman and she's moving down the runway. Yeah. It's going to move with her body, right?
They did not want.
That's crazy.
They didn't want fake boobs. They didn't want you too curvy. At that time, I think I weighed 124 pounds and I'm 5'9.5". And there were times I didn't get a job for runway because they told me I was too curvy or too heavy. What? I'm a size 2.
That's why it seems like a pretty sexy body, right? I mean, what do you think, Mass?
Did you hit them with the? Do you know there's a statue of me in somebody's pool?
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I'm a bronze statue somewhere, so piss off.
Do you know who the hell I am? I'm basically an Oscar.
Go to this address and jump in the pool. I didn't realize the magazine was before Eagles. So did any of the girls who you were cheering with, did they ever see the magazine? Did anybody from the Eagles ever see the magazine?
Oh yeah, I got a good story about that one.
Really?
So this warrants a cocktail. So cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah. So as I told you, I shot 3 magazines, right? 3 different layouts. There was a white layout, a black layout, and a red outfit, right? So the white one came out first. I should bring him. I'll have him get them and bring them down so I can show you guys.
Yeah,
so that
sure,
one
please.
came out first. Then the second one came out while I was with the Eagles. So my best friend, day of her wedding, and I'm at the house, you know, I was the maid of honor in the wedding, getting ready. And my dad calls and he's like, Bev, I got to talk to you. And I'm like, what's up, Daddy? Is everything okay? He's like, Mom and I were out and about, and why my dad picked up the Playboy book of lingerie, I don't know, but he did because, well, he knows that I was in it anyway.
Well,
so Daddy picks up the latest
he's a
issue of
man.
the Playboy. Yeah. He picks it up, and you know how they always put the postcard to subscribe to in the magazine,
Yeah.
right? So he opens it, and the postcard is right at my layout, like literally right there. So Dad walks through it, and it opens to Beverly Lynne, and my dad's like, right? So he's like, your Playboy issue just came out, and he's like, and you're with the Eagles. I'm like, Dad, Danielle's getting married right now. I don't have time for this. So then I go to practice that week, and somehow there was this one girl on the team that wasn't very fond of me, and she went, I don't know how she found it or how she knew or anything, but she went to my coach and, you know, made a complaint about it and basically was saying that I was doing this while I was with the Philadelphia Eagles, which isn't true because that's part of my contract with the Eagles. You can't do any nudity. I'm like, I never shot it while I was under contract with you. This was actually done then. So I actually had to prove to them that, look, here's when I shot it. Here's the dates. Here's the pay stub. Here's everything, because I would have gotten kicked off the team. So that kind of caused a little bit of beef, you know, but then we shot our calendar in the second season. I got the cover of it. So
I have to, because this story is incredible, and I want to laugh at when your father opened the issue. It wasn't, hey, Bev, I just saw you naked. It was, Bev, you're with the Eagles.
Yeah.
He was
not
more
like,
You
worried
shouldn't
about
be
your
doing this
career.
with the Eagles.
That's
Did he know you were doing that, or did he find out?
So my parents, you guys, my dad has passed away. But anyway, my parents are so cool. They were very young when they had me, 17, 18 years old, right?
Okay.
So we're very, very close. So when I posed for Playboy, Mom knew. I told Mom, but Daddy had no clue. No clue. I was like, I'm not telling my dad until, like, if it comes out, blah, 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 blah.
He's going to have to see it and tell me.
The first issue comes out, right? And I'm all excited. So I buy the magazine, and here I am with the magazine, and I go to Mom and Dad's house, and I just take the magazine and I put it on the kitchen table and I leave.
For Sunday dinner.
Just conversation, right?
Oh my God.
Phone call. What the fuck were you thinking? I'm sorry for cussing, but
No, it's all good.
please.
It's all good. Yeah.
I'm like, Dad, it's Playboy. He's like, well, yeah, you're right. He's
It's
like,
very
I'm sorry.
tasteful.
If you're going to do this in a magazine, it
Do
ought to
it
be
right.
great. Yeah.
Exactly.
So my dad
Go
was proud, and it was so funny because, fun fact, my dad was a U.S. rare coin auctioneer, right? So he would do like different coin shows all over the country and stuff like that. My father was so proud. This is embarrassing, and it's probably like weird. I probably shouldn't even say it, but he would on the shows, the conventions. I wasn't there, but he would have one of my Playboys, and he would show, I guess, to close the deal, buy this coin for $100,000, and you get an autographed copy of my daughter's Playboy magazine. I don't know, I'm blushing right now, but yeah.
Bev, I
My
have to
parents
tell you,
That's awesome.
my day job is I'm in sales. I'm a sales director.
Right, you
This-
get it.
This is genius.
Yeah.
This is genius. It's genius.
And then he would do the same thing with my Eagles trading cards. So then I was like, Daddy, I better get
Absolutely.
a commission on what you're
Yeah.
selling on.
20%.
He was like, all those years of dancing and modeling, all that money I spent, that's your commission.
Fully supportive, fully on your side from start
Very
to
much.
finish. I have to imagine that made all the difference, right? Because if you're constantly battling that at home every day, regardless of what coast you're on, right? I would have to imagine that would just make it much more difficult, especially the younger you are. And maybe not, when you become an adult, but So full support out of the gate, no matter what it was from start to finish. I think that's awesome.
It is awesome. So you go from the Playboy Book of Lingerie to the Eagles.
Right.
And then you go out west. Now, you land your first role out west.
Correct. Yes.
What's going through your mind, and how did that moment change things for you, kind of professionally?
Well, I was scared out of my mind.
Rightfully so.
Sure. Yeah, that makes
Here
sense.
I am living in Los Angeles, California by myself. Didn't know a soul, pursuing, my dream. Yeah, it was terrifying, but I got to do it. I didn't, it's like my dad always told me, if you're going to do it right. Don't go there. Don't go there to be a waitress or anything like that. Go there and act. Just do what you got to do. Take every job, even if it pays you $50 for one day. Take it. Get out there. Do it. They were like my biggest supporters, and I'm so blessed and grateful for that.
That's phenomenal. Now, if you don't mind me asking, what did you do when you were auditioning? How did you earn money out there while you were landing roles?
I had some money saved, and I did do a weird job on the side. I can't believe I'm telling you this.
That's what we're looking for, the weird job.
And I was a phone sex operator.
Really?
But that, I'll tell you what, it motivated me to get my ass out there and audition all the time.
You're saying it was scary, but it was also your intention, right? So, yeah,
absolutely.
You had to.
She went out
push
there
yourself.
knowing it would be scary, I would imagine.
So hold on, let me go back to Playboy really quick. He brought these down. So I got to put my glasses on. Okay, so this is my first issue that came out. This was in 97. Okay, so this is can you see it?
We can.
Okay, so this was the first one that came out in 1997. And this is the white layout. Hold on, I got to find it.
Is this the one Dad had?
No, I'm getting to that, but this is funny. So you can see how, and sometimes I wonder if they had it come out because they knew I was with the Eagles. Because the other one came out in 1999.
I was going to ask you, is it normal for it to be published so much later?
I don't know their rhyme or reason. They own the rights to it, and there's basically, I just had to check every month. Here's the first layout. I don't know if you can. So there's the full nudie one. And then here's like you see, I have short hair.
I was going to say, is that a pixie? What is it?
No, kind of. I'll send them to you, Bobby. I'll email them to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
so that was
beautiful.
The first one. And then this was the second one. And this is the one my dad found on my best friend's wedding. Yeah.
So he went. When
they
did
were
this?
at the gas station or something.
No, but I mean, how much time in between the first and second one?
Okay, so this one was March, April of 1997, March, April of 99.
99.
So he went 2 years before he ever saw
my second one come out. And then there's a third one. I'm in a red outfit, and I Googled and tried to look for it. And when I worked for Playboy, I tried to find out, but I didn't. Oh, look, I'm in with the episode or with Dita Bonteese when she was just starting. Look at that.
Really?
That's
nice.
Yeah. And here's me. So this is my second layout. Can you see it?
That's beautiful.
Thank you. I had a tattoo
really did. It
there.
came out great.
Yeah. So I'll send these to you guys so you can put them in there. And then, like I said, the third one, I don't know. It said that it was released in Poland, and I'm in a red outfit. So I've never seen that one.
I'll tell you what, that's a limited edition. Maybe we have to find that mass and mail it to her.
Grab it on eBay.
Whoever finds it gets it autographed, right? Oh my God. But yeah, that's crazy. So that's the one my dad found when he was, because back east, didn't they used to sell them in the gas stations and stuff?
New gas stations, newsstands, yeah.
Newsstands,
don't you love how she
Barnes
says
and
back
Noble.
east?
Yeah, back east.
Yeah, back home. We had no boundaries. We're like, it's fine.
Did your family stay in PA, or did they eventually join you?
Oh, no. My mom and dad stayed in Pennsylvania, and then they sold the big house. Oh God, I was already in California, maybe 2004, 2005. Okay. And then they moved to California or to Florida.
Nice. Okay.
And then they lived there until my father was killed in a car accident 5 years ago. So
very, very sorry to hear that, Beverly.
Sorry to hear that.
It's okay. Yeah. So when he died, I went back, helped mom, close everything up and moved her out here. So now my mom lives like a mile down the road from me.
That's awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
That's
so
That's great.
Yeah. And then I have one sister, but she lives in Wisconsin.
Really?
Yes. We're night and day.
Night and day.
We're 10 years apart. I'm the oldest. Now I'm 51. She's 41. But she has full back tattoo, full sleeves, piercings everywhere. She's shorter than me. She has dark hair. She colors it dark.
Different. Yeah.
We're completely, my mom is always like, okay, my girls are completely different.
So you're out west now, right? You're looking for new jobs. And my partner, Joe, and I, we know all about your background. So you get a call from your agent, and he offers you some jobs in late night thrillers, we'll call them, or softcore, I guess, erotic, late night films, because you are, the queen of late night, which I have to tell you, I saw your one reel where you had Queen of the Night from Bodyguard playing in the background, and it's amazing. That is the greatest movie choice.
That's an awesome nickname to have.
You could thank my husband for that, because he's like, baby, I think this music will go best with it, or you know what I mean?
So you get these offers, I guess, to go auditions for these softcore films, late night erotica. And when these happened, how did your family react to that path that you chose? And what was it like navigating that part of the industry? So let's talk about when you, I guess, get offered or audition. How did that process work?
Okay. So I'm in LA, right? And I'm doing my jam. And I started with, I did a few episodes on MadTv as a glorified featured extra with some lines. So that was how you get your SAG card and, all that stuff. And then I did some B horror movies that go straight to DVD that would have been back in the day when we had Blockbuster and Hollywood Video, right? And then my agent called me to audition for a movie called Personals2Casualsex.com. And it was with Indigo Entertainment. And I'm like, okay, what is this? And she's like, look, it's one of those, late night films that you see on Cinemax. I'm like, Skinemax, okay. But Indigo is owned by Playboy. And it's Playboy TV that owned Indigo Entertainment.
Wow.
So it's good pay if you get it. It's, you have a trailer, it's a 2-week shoot. It's like a full on, their budget's a few $100,000. So it's nice.
The sets are going to be respectful.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, all right, I'll go.
Did you have that connection from the magazine, or they were unrelated?
They were unrelated.
Okay.
That's my agent had no idea. Well, they knew I posed in Playboy. It was on my resume, but that whole film division was different than the print division, and the print division is mainly, Christina and all that. But so it wasn't for the lead role. It was for the supporting role. So I went in and I read, and they're like, okay, Beverly, great read. And when you read, you have the director there, you have a couple producers, you have the casting director. There's 4 to 6 people in the room, right? Okay. So then I go back out in the lobby. I'm sitting there waiting. And then the casting director came out, and they're like, Beverly, the director really liked you, and he wanted to know if you can read for the role of Jessie. And I'm like, okay,
whatever you want. Whatever you want, casting director.
I'll read for the role of anybody in the script.
Exactly. Just let me get a paycheck, please. So anyway, she's like, I'll come back in 5-10 minutes. And, they give me three pages of sides, which is a little scene. So I memorize the lines and go in and I read for the role of Jessie, and the director is reading with me. He's reading the role of my boyfriend in the movie. Okay. So we're reading and it goes what I thought really great. So they're like, okay, we'll be in touch. Good job. And then I wait.
For how long? How long are you waiting for?
My agent. Yeah. So I guess a couple days go by, and then my agent, she calls me and she's like, you know what, Beverly, they absolutely loved you and they want to offer you the part. I'm like, oh, awesome. The supporting role. And she's like, no, it's the role of Jessie. It's the starring role. I'm like,
this
what?
is your first,
my first
feature film, I guess?
Yeah. Well, not
awesome.
a B movie that was shot in the backwoods of, you know what I mean? Getting paid
one with an actual budget and a set. Yeah.
This is my first freaking movie. I was so excited. And then she's like, well, the only thing is, you have to do simulated love scenes. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm comfortable being nude. I was in Playboy, showered with 36 other women in a shower. You know what I mean? I'm fine with my body. And she's like, well, there's 4 of them or something like that in the movie. I'm like, 4 different scenes. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let me think about this for a minute. And that's when I called my parents, because they're super supportive and I was super excited. So of course I talked to Dad.
He owed you money from all the coin sales you did.
Where's my commission?
Time to
I'm
collect.
happy to, yeah, Daddy has always been like my mentor and my guide in my life. But anyway, so I explained the situation to him and I get a pause and I'm like, oh shit, he's going to lose his mind or it's going to go good, one or the other. And then he's like, well, Bevy, if you're going to take the role, then you better be the biggest softcore porn star ever in the history. That's what you got to do, like pretty much. And I'm
Damn right. Damn right. Give
I'm
it
like,
100%.
you got it, Daddy. I'm going to do that just for you.
Again, get your back and,
yeah,
you know, supportive. That's awesome.
I mean, it sounds like you had one of the most supportive families ever in the world, which is an incredible thing for anybody.
I really did. Here's another fun fact. I was shooting one of the mainline releasing movies or an episodic. Anyway, it was in like this beautiful mansion in California, in Malibu. And my parents were traveling at that time and they were traveling through California. So I asked the producers and everything. I'm like, look, my parents are going to be here. Can they come to set one day and watch me work? Oh my God. I can't believe. Yeah. So they came to set. And it was on a day I had to do a simulated love scene.
And you did that on purpose? You invited them on that day on purpose?
I didn't know I was doing a love scene that day. So mom and dad show up to set. They're spending the day with me. They get to see what I go through. You know, I'm in the makeup chair at 6 a.m. I'm, you know, getting my hair done, learning my lines. They have lunch with us. They watch me film. And then I have to do a love scene. And I'm like, Dad, I didn't know this was on the agenda for today. So, like, you guys can go wait over here. Well, I didn't have a trailer. It was in this mansion. So they just went to another part of the house, but they heard all the moaning and everything. My dad must have walked outside and smoked 10 cigarettes, honest to God.
I'm sure he did.
It was so
I'm sure he did, Beverly. I don't have a daughter. I have two sons, but I'm sure he did.
But
yeah,
they had a good time. Everybody was really nice. They'd come to a couple of my premieres. Like sometimes movies, they would have like special screenings and do like festivals and we would have film premieres. So they would come to them. And then my dad produced a movie out here and shot it and everything, got the funding. It was called The Atonement of Janice Drake. So my dad worked the whole week on the set. He did the lighting. He was like, you know, so they're just, my mom was watching my daughter, Brianna. She was like 3 at that time. So mom was at the house taking care of Brie while we're off making this movie. And my dad's like building the set. Like he's just, I couldn't have, I'm going to cry. I couldn't have asked for better parents. Like
no, this is great.
So,
That's awesome. I agree with you.
So freaking supportive.
That's unbelievable.
Beyond green light, beyond supportive, they were involved, right? That's even another level. To be working on set. Like it's one thing to say, sure, do it and be great at it, but it's another thing to like babysit and work on set. You know what I mean? That's next level stuff.
No, I agree.
And then I don't know if you guys ever saw the Philadelphia Daily News huge article on me years ago.
I don't know that I did.
Okay, I'll have to get that to you. They actually flew the guy out to be on set with me for like 3 days. And they interviewed me, interviewed everything, interviewed my parents.
Oh, good.
Do you need to refill yours or are you okay?
Maybe a white wine spritzer. Is there any vodka left?
No way.
Bev, that's my favorite drink in the world is a white wine spritzer. Yeah. I catch a lot of flack for it. You know what I mean?
Heart attack.
Being a straight guy, but because, you know, it should be beer or something harder. But for me, white wine spritzer is my jam.
They're so
We've
good.
actually invented a drink of the 40 Years and 40 Beers podcast. Go ahead, Mass.
So,
is there anything else that
I hear
yeah. So,
love it.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Don't be sorry.
The first week, we said we wanted to have cocktails every time we did an episode, but I didn't have white wine. So I had red wine and Mountain Dew.
What?
Yeah.
That sounds wrong on so many levels.
It's phenomenal.
It's fantastic. And I think the name is even better. So equal parts red wine and Mountain Dew. We call it Brokeback Mountain.
That's epic. Hey, babe, did you hear that? So they make a drink. It's red wine and Mountain Dew.
That sounds good.
No. And they call it
It's fantastic.
That's pretty funny.
It's great.
We're gonna have to. Oh, we got that crappy red wine that I made for the turkey gravy.
That's what we had. Yeah, it was
so
cheap
I don't know
wine.
the difference between a $10 bottle of wine and a $300 bottle of wine. I'm not a wine connoisseur.
Neither do I.
I'm a weed connoisseur.
I like my edibles. I concur.
Once I add soda to it, that's all that matters. Yeah.
He's the thing. Is it legal in Pennsylvania now or no?
Medicinal, but we have Delaware and New Jersey right next door.
So you have to get a prescription to buy it.
We do. But I mean, I live in an area where Delaware is 5 minutes from my house and Jersey is 10 minutes.
Perfect.
It's easy to get the medical card. I'm not going to drop any facility names, but you just like, I have anxiety. They send you the card in the mail. You know what I mean? So it's not that big of a deal.
Just walk into the dispensary.
Yeah.
Just walk in. I can actually order my stuff because I have anxiety. Mm-hmm. And I just order my stuff online. I go pick it up on my way home from the spa and call it a day.
Everybody wins with edibles.
Now we're in the world of softcore, erotica, late night TV, we'll call it Skinamax. And you mentioned that obviously it's simulated. So how is that? You know, if you see a good looking guy, you know, and even though there's a grip around, a director, you know, there's probably craft services, right? Do you think to yourself, like, you know what, if I got to be stuck doing this, God damn, at least he's good looking.
Right. I mean, that's definitely a plus.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
There were a couple times in the movies, like this one guy, I'll never forget, they had a hard time editing it too, because I called him the guppy because he would just like leave a trail of slobber when he like, yeah, it was horrible. And I mean, he was nice and all, but it's generally really, really professional because again, don't forget, it's not like sexy time with your partner. You got like 9 people in the room. You know,
exactly.
I got the director yelling at me. I got the lighting guy yelling at me. I got the sound guy or the boom operator. Then I got the sound mixer over there. Then I got the makeup artist, the hair person, the wardrobe person, all these people. And now I got to be sexy and act like you are my only world.
Exactly.
It's hard.
Plus you have your own process and routine you have to follow in the scene, right? Whatever's built into the script. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just kind of, one thing, like at first I would get so nervous and anxious, but now it's like, if the minute I hear action, I literally tune out everything and I live in that moment. And the only voice I'll hear are the actors that I'm working with and my director. Everything else is just mute to me. You know what I mean? And that's just how, like, what works for me and what the directors and everyone I have worked with found, you know, it just works for us. And then when it comes to the love scenes, what makes it so difficult is, you know, the guys actually wear, we call it the sock and patch. So the guy actually puts all his stuff in a sock, literally. And then I wear like a Band-Aid down there, like big clear Band-Aid, because there's no exchange of bodily fluid supposed to be. There's no, minus the guy that slobbered all over me, no penetration, nothing like that. So when you do the love scene, he just
didn't know what he was doing, Bev.
Clearly, right? I mean, I don't mind slobber, but I was like, anyway. So then, you know, you're being shot and then you're just mindful of like, if the camera's right here and they want to, you know, then I got to angle like this and work it this way and open up to the camera and move, you know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely.
It's actually an art form. And then you're actually shooting it for like a good 15 minutes because
so that's another question. That's another question I have, like you were saying. So obviously everything's simulated, right? And he's wearing, we're going to call it a sock, right? A cock sock. That's what it is. Let's be honest. That's what it's called. And I don't care how professional you are, there's still friction going on, right?
Yeah,
so is that just something you have to expect? Like, hey, listen, there's a chance this guy's going to be ready to go and I just got to deal with it, you know?
Yeah. And it makes it difficult because one actor that I would work with a lot, he's just infamous for always popping wood. And it was known in the industry, but I knew how to handle them. So it's like they would cast me with them because it would just be, okay, Bev's got this. And I knew how to work around it. And if you saw it, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, Randy's awesome. I love Randy. He was always such a pleasure to work with. Evan, you know, that's when they started bringing all the porn guys in. But this was a softcore guy. That was just his thing. And he did it with everyone. I mean, you're a man. How can you not? And I'm not going to lie that women can get turned on too. Exactly. Sometimes it's just passionate and you're connected. You know what I mean? And you're in that moment. That's what acting is. Living in a false moment, but making it reality.
It also makes for a better scene, I would imagine, right? Like, let's be frank. I mean, if you're a little bit turned on, it's going to help your acting. It's going to help your, you know, your moaning. It's going to help your
Yeah.
It's just, it's a natural thing, right?
So, yeah. So I got to the point where it was nice where I could be like, okay, I want to work with this actor because we have good chemistry on camera. Like, it's not forced. And I felt comfortable with them because they're not going to try to push that boundary or cross that boundary. Like, I've worked with some actors that they'll try to like be completely inappropriate on set. Just because I'm doing a sexy movie doesn't mean like you can put your finger in me or try to do this or do that, because you wouldn't
cross
go to
that
the
line.
office that, you know. So it was nice. It's still a job. And people, I think a lot of people don't understand it. They think she's just a softcore actress. You know, she's just a mattress topper. It doesn't matter. She's dumb. She doesn't. No, it's a business, babe. It's a business.
It's a lot of work.
I mean, maybe someone on the outside wouldn't or shouldn't understand, but you would expect your co-star to get it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And now this is a guy who's getting paid to do a scene. And listen, we're in this situation. At least respect me. Like, let's talk before the scene. And this is what I like. This is what I don't like. Right?
Take it serious.
Like, I'm not walking like on, let's say we're doing a love scene right now. And you guys are like, okay, Beverly, we're ready for you on set. And Joe and I come walking in. I'm not walking in completely in my lingerie and naked. I have a robe on. The set gets closed down. Where
so wait, it's going to be me, Massi, you, and Joe. They
you
will.
know what I mean? I'm not like,
Did you hear what she said?
okay. It's not that
No,
kind
like
of
we were putting on the movie. It was just an example.
I was like, "Where's the other girl?" I was like,
He's like, wait a minute. She'll be knocking on the door shortly, okay?
"Okay,
Yeah.
all right." I was like,
15 minutes. That seems like a really long time to me. 15 minutes gets you like 3 minutes on film, right? Like after they edit it.
Yeah, most of them, I think most of the love, well, when we did Tanya X, the love scenes were 5 to 7 minutes in after being edited. So we would shoot a good 15, 20 minutes of footage. So you got to do the lead into, you know, smoochy, 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 undressing, right? Then they always want oral, simulated oral, and then 2 or 3 positions. And then the third position is the climax, and then cuddle, cuddle, fade out. And then they got to take all that footage and make it into a really hot, steamy. So, and then don't forget, if a hard penis is showing or the patch falls off, they got to cut that out, because with HBO and Cinemax, you can't show those things. You can't show an erect penis, and you can't show any pink.
So that's interesting what you just said, because me and Joe were talking about this. So we've obviously researched and had to watch some films coming into this interview.
Research and development.
Exactly.
It was so difficult.
It was actually our R&D department sent us the videos, Bev, is what happened.
Right.
So I understand the whole, you know, no exchange of bodily fluids, and it's not XXX work. You know, it looks like when there's a girl on girl scene, I understand what you said about the patch, right? That covers the female, but this looks a lot more erotic. It looks like there's a lot more going on the real end. So when it's the girl on girl scene,
he's convinced that some people are breaking the rules. So please set us straight.
I'm convinced. I mean, the camera's right there, and I don't care if there's a patch there or anything. You're still pretty close to having a great time at that.
I won't lie. There's definitely times I did not wear a patch. Like when I did 7 Lives Exposed with Playboy TV, that scripted reality series. I did not wear a patch in that. You know what I mean? And that definitely was my most risque. And then certain times, like if I'm doing a simulated scene in the pool, and I'm with Evan, let's say, or Randy, I'm not going to wear a patch or a hot tub because it's just going to come off.
Sure.
But I was safe and comfortable with them because they respected my boundaries and they wouldn't try anything. Same with certain women I worked with. You know, I worked with a lot of porn stars. Nicole Sheridan was always amazing. Rebecca Love, you know, Kylie Nash. They were all so good. And then with them, it would be okay for me to go maybe patchless because one, I've worked with them so many times. They know the boundaries. And then also when you're filming, it's like, you're not touching like this. It's more like this. Yeah. And then it's camera angles and lighting.
Are the rules different when there's no men involved? Or it's always the same protocol?
It's generally the same.
Okay.
Now, like after that whole MeToo thing and everything happened, the industry may have enforced it more, the sock and patch thing, you know what I'm saying? But it was definitely more lenient when I was there. But then again, don't forget, I worked with the same people over and over again. So there was that comfort level. Now, if I was going to do a show for HBO and I had to do a simulated love scene with some random actor, yeah, there's going to be an intimacy coordinator, they call it now. I should be one of those, an intimacy coordinator.
I mean, the best coordinators would be the ones who did it before, right? How could you not be super qualified for that?
I know. I'm like, I may have done 1 or 2 fake love scenes in my life. Just saying.
Yeah, maybe one or two. Looking back, how do you think your past in softcore films impacted your journey in Hollywood? Do you think there were any hurdles, any stigmas that you had to push through?
Well, for sure, because, I started in the early 2000s, all the way up to 2018. So for 18 years, I did it. And definitely it stems back to when I took the first role, personals2casualsex.com. And my dad was like, look, if you're going to do it, be the biggest that there is, because you're going to get blacklisted from a lot of mainline stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what happened at that time. But now that they've pretty much eradicated all Cinemax late night movies, Skinemax is pretty much gone.
Well, they have Pornhub now.
I'm watching this stuff and I'm like, there's more nudity in that than So I think now in 2025, it's different than it was, when I did the Emmanuel movies and all this other stuff. Sure. I think I'm hoping that we evolved, because it's just nudity. It's like we're all like, really? It's just boobs and a butt.
Exactly. It's boobs, and I don't know. I mean, hopefully everybody in the world is having sex. I hope.
I think we just found the name of the episode.
Yeah, it's just boobs. We all got them.
So we just went through a lot of your career, up until probably a few years ago. So I've noticed, I think I said this before when we were speaking, I've noticed you've been active on social media recently. It's probably been over the past year, let's say. So you took a little bit of a hiatus. It seems like you've reinvented yourself over the years, so to speak, a little bit. And what's been the key to staying confident and adapting in such a fast-moving industry?
Oh, God, that's a good question. That's a loaded question. Joe asks me that too sometimes. And honestly, just loving what you do. Like, I really miss it. I took a hiatus because the genre had dried up, right? And I put myself through aesthetic school, opened a spa here in Las Vegas. So I'm an esthetician now and everything. And I do that as my day to day. I shut down my websites. I was like, I just need a break. So I've been doing this for since 2015, 10 years, right? But now with my new husband, he's like, baby, why don't we do it and come back as Beverly Lynne, the MILF and, this and that, and I'm getting there. I still, I feel sometimes when I'm shooting with him, I get a little giddy, kind of like when I first started my career, because, I'm 51 now. I'm not my 20-year-old body. I've had a child. I've lived life.
But you're way more confident now, I bet.
Bitch, I own it, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks, Beth. Thanks.
Is it easier because it's just the two of you there, and then you're streaming everything else to the rest of the audience? Do you find it easier than it was before you took a break?
Yes, because I'm with a partner that, how do I say it without getting in trouble? My ex, you guys know, there's stuff out there that I did with my ex, but the connection was never there and it wasn't a good relationship. It was there because of our daughter. Okay. So when I got the confidence to leave that and, be able to provide for myself and build this life, then when I met Joe and, we dated and then we got married quick and everything. I mean, I've only been recently remarried 2 years to him, but the connection's there and I think it shows in it. So now I'm not,
Absolutely.
I want people to experience this because one, they knew who I am. I'm comfortable with my sexuality and he brings out a whole nother crazy side of me that I didn't even okay, I don't know if this is appropriate to say on your show, but I can squirt now. Did you miss that?
No, I didn't miss it.
I was not expecting that. Let me get a sip. I didn't miss that.
Sure,
listeners.
All right, boys.
Listeners.
We had to toast to the...
Hey,
You're
Mass,
blushing.
Cheers to the squirt.
Literally blushing, Joe.
Cheers to the squirt.
That's awesome.
He is blushing. He is.
I'm not sheltered. I'm immediately thinking about how I'm going to have to explain this to my mother when she watches the episode, but it's all good. It's all good.
We can have a safe version, and then you can make
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Yeah.
That is a great idea.
He brings out this, I've always been comfortable with my sexuality, but now I feel like I'm even more comfortable with it. And maybe it's my age too, because once you hit over 45, you're like, I give zero shits anymore. You know what I mean?
About anything. Yeah.
I don't care. It's this is who I am. I love who I am. You know what I mean? When we, like with the OnlyFans, the content that we're putting up, I think that people can feel the passion and the connection and the wildness. And people are commenting like, wow, Bev, like we never knew you had that crazy side.
It was like this. Yeah.
I didn't know either. So we can thank him for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. I feel like as you get older, you kind of become less of a selfish lover, right? In your 20s, it's all about you. I don't care if you come, it's all about me, right?
Yeah.
And then in your
Yeah.
30s, it kind of changes a little bit more, right? You're giving a little
No,
bit. And then after
Yeah.
40, you kind of become more of a giver. It's like, all right, you know what? I'm starting to get excited because she's getting excited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's intense, it's wild, it's amazing. I love it. I enjoy, and it's making me want to film again because it's like a fun job. Again, I have to enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
My father
Agreed.
always told me, you don't love what you do, you're going to be miserable. And what's the point? The only thing we have is our time, right? And I want to love what I do, and God will bless me with the money. It'll come, you know. Hey,
Yeah.
we have a dog. Her name's Penny. She's a English bulldog and Frenchie mix.
So Joe Massi, he's allergic to every animal on the planet. He can't even come 10 feet near my house. I have 2 dogs. Bev,
Really?
I can't.
he can't
I
be
can't
inside
hang
of my
out in the
backyard.
backyard.
Are you kidding me?
The dogs go in the backyard. They'll run around. They'll go to the bathroom or whatever. I can't even be in the backyard when they're out there. Like, that's how bad it is.
That's
It's crazy.
horrible.
Yeah. Like, if I have to go to a family member's house, like I have to take Benadryl and then I'm passed out on the couch and stuff. I can't. Yeah. It's but I love dogs. The minute I find a way to kick this or they find a cure, I'm immediately going out.
Try
Hypnosis.
acupuncture and hypnosis.
Really?
I know it sounds kooky. Okay, so like with my aesthetics, I became like a holistic practitioner.
I was going to say,
As
you
I-
seem holistic. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so I do a lot of those. My father would always be like, hey, Bev, what voodoo witchcraft shit do you have for me that's going to get rid of this? You know what I mean? I've been that way since I was a little girl. But look into like acupuncture and look into,
I forgot all about hypnosis.
yeah.
Not a
'cause
bad
sometimes-
idea.
Yeah, seriously. And then you can even sometimes you could try cupping.
Okay.
They're going to leave,
It's tough.
Yeah.
leave crazy bruises all over you, but I've heard it's a great thing.
To beat out of you, but you
Yeah.
know.
We I don't know if I guess we were trying to jump the gun, and it wasn't a very long amount of time, but it felt long to us. When we were trying to have our first child, my wife did acupuncture, and she swears that was the reason that we were able to get pregnant in the very beginning. So
Wow.
yeah, but I didn't think about it to help me with my allergies. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm gonna have to try that.
Look into it. And then one thing with moving in Vegas, like my eyes constantly, the winds, it's brutal. Plus, getting older doesn't help any. But yeah, acupuncture, anything holistic. I'll have to look and see what certain herbs you can take. Cause my oldest stepson, he has really bad allergies and he always has to pop a Claritin when he's here because of the dog and, the cat hair. So, and generally I think it's the saliva you're more allergic to than the hair.
Yeah. If I pet one and I
You're
don't
like
wash
that.
I have to wash my hands immediately. Like,
Wow.
because it's hard to get into that conversation with a stranger on the street. Like, everybody wants you to pet their dog when you walk by, and I can't. It almost feels like I'm lying to them or being rude if I say I'm allergic and I have to keep walking. So I'll try to pet the dog, and then I have to immediately run home and wash my hands. It's crazy.
I
All
have
right,
to ask this question, and I'm sorry. I'm the guy who thinks crazy things. So you're allergic to dog hair, right? Your wife goes and pets a dog and then comes home and wants to have fun and starts playing with you. Do you swell up?
Yeah, I'm going to swell up like Jiminy Glick, but I'm going to deal with it. And for that situation,
I mean, your penis.
I don't know. I've never tried to put dog hair there, but
Natural Viagra.
if that works, this could be like a revolutionary thing. That's
You're
awesome.
honest.
I'm not opposed to trying it, but I certainly haven't tried.
So listen, if
far.
we do patent this dog hair erectile dysfunction drug, Beverly has to get 10%.
We kind of jumped all the way ahead to present day, but I did see the Triple H and Mr. Perfect episode. I found it on YouTube, and now that I see the short hair in the magazine, I know it's the right episode.
Yep.
They handcuffed you to the side of the ring. Mr. Perfect had the key. And then I saw, one of the episodes of MadTv where you were a game show host model. And I don't know if it was Mo or one of the other actresses was trying to buy a leaf blower from you, and she kept blowing the leaf blower all over. Was that you?
No, I was the one where they wanted the 40 acres and the mule.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Find it. I'll have to find. Yeah, they did. I was a game show model, but no, I had the shorter hair then. And I, like, in the end, I pulled, who was the little guy that was like Latino that was on that show?
I can't remember. I knew the stars.
But I was laughing hysterically because it's shot live. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, but it's good. I'll have to find it for you and get it to you guys so you can, like, you know, we put clips in or whatever.
There's a bunch of them. I found the wrestling clip. There's a bunch of MadTv episodes on YouTube. So if I find the right one, I thought you was
they're either upstairs or in the bin and garage. I can tell you the season and the episode once I find it. I can't remember, but it was cool. I had special guest star on my dressing room door at MadTv.
Nice.
Yeah,
Beverly, thank you so much for tonight. We love you so much. You are one of the greatest people we've ever met. You are one of our best interviews ever on the podcast. Please plug everything that you have. We want our listeners to enjoy you as much as we did.
Bobby and Joe, that was very sweet. But yes, guys, you can find me all over social media. I'm learning it. Anyway, I do have Instagram. It's Miss Beverly Lynne. I have TikTok. It's Miss Beverly Lynne. I'm on Reddit. I have OnlyFans. So if you want to see my naughty side, you can always go see me there. And I will definitely be on again. And I had a good time.
Thank you, Beverly, so much. We appreciate it.
We do. And guys, if you remember, please watch Beverly because, as she told us earlier, OnlyFans is where she learned she could squirt. So,
yes.
We might squirt a fan. I don't know. Maybe.
Bev, thank you so much.